like I got this board from the trash pile downstairs.
The dumpster.
Yeah, there were three doors down there, and I was like, oh, perfect for the 2000. So I brought it up and I drilled some holes and I started, I bent some coat hangers and I drilled those. I screwed those on.
Make sure you label him
and
as
then I
Dickens.
started clipping all the lights on. And finally, we put it upright and it started leaking water out the bottom because I guess it was waterlogged.
Oh boy.
Of course, by this time it's all like wired up and I was all ready to test.
Turn it on!
So anyway, okay. I mean, we gotta test it once before the big moment, don't we? We don't want the big moment to be a dud.
Ruined, right. For the other two people that are expected.
Okay, I'm gonna try to do them both at the same time.
That's enough, Adam.
Oh!
Woo! Breathtaking!
Okay, good.
A whole year. A new year. Yeah. That's a great name.
That was the future, everybody. That's what it's gonna feel like in the future.
The funny thing is that the tea kettle totally blocks the bus.
Is it rolling?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So
Watching that now as the rollover takes place.
To why?
Rollover takes place.
Rollover.
You've probably heard people talking about Y2K, the millennium bug, or the Y2K computer glitch. Why is there concern? In the 1950 apostrophes, 1960 apostrophes, and 1970 apostrophes, when we were first built, our programmers used 2 numbers instead of 4 to indicate the year. For example, 1963 was abbreviated as 63, and 1991 as 91. Out of habit, many of our programmers continued to use 2 numbers instead of 4. When the year 2000 arrives, this programming shortcut might cause some of us to perform as if 00 means 1900 instead of 2000. Some people believe that since they don't own one of us, the Y2K issue will not affect them. The truth is that we affect your lives daily, whether you realize it or not. A disruption in services and other things you take for granted could occur when January 1, 2000 arrives.
My name is Julian West.
The U.S. Postal Service has approved 00 as a valid representation for the year 2000 on all metered mail. All of our postage meters, copiers, fax machines, as well as all services, including the Pitney Bowes postage by phone meter resetting service, are fully Y2K compliant.
No sooner did I find myself physically rehabilitated through the kind offices of my host than I became eager to return to the housetop, and presently we were comfortably established there in easy chairs, with the city beneath and around us. After Dr. Leet had responded to numerous questions on my part, as to the ancient landmarks I missed and the new ones which had replaced them, he asked me what point of the contrast between the new and the old city struck me most forcibly. To speak of small things before great, I responded, I really think that the complete absence of chimneys and their smoke is the detail that first impressed me. Ah, ejaculated my companion with an air of much interest, I had forgotten the chimneys. It is so long since they went out of use. It is nearly a century since the crude method of combustion on which you depended for heat became obsolete.
Hello, and thank you for calling the Pico Energy Year 2000 Project Office. Pico Energy is now in the testing and evaluation phase of Pico Energy's mission-critical systems. Currently, all mission-critical systems are functioning normally, and no problems have been reported. This line will be updated as the latest information becomes available. You can also check our website.
The nation, that is to say, organized as the one great business corporation in which all other corporations were absorbed. It became the one capitalist in the place of all other capitalists, the sole employer, the final monopoly in which all previous and lesser monopolies were swallowed up, a monopoly in the profits and economies of which all citizens shared. In a word, the people of the United States concluded to assume the conduct of their own business, just as 100-odd years before they had assumed the conduct of their own government, organizing now for industrial purposes on precisely the same grounds that they had then organized for political purposes. At last, strangely late in the world's history, the obvious fact was perceived that no business is so essentially the public business as the industry and commerce on which the people's livelihood depends, and that to entrust it to private persons to be managed for private profit is a folly similar in kind, though vastly greater in magnitude, to that of surrendering the functions of political government to kings and nobles to be conducted for their personal glorification.
Thank you, and have a happy and safe New Year.
Till the end.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What do you think is going to happen in the year 2000?
I think there's going to be flying cars and it's going to be war, but we're not going to die.
Go back. The concept is I've been sort of thinking about Y2K and what might happen, and I mean, obviously if this thing is ever shown and nothing ever happens, then I'll seem like a paranoid maniac or something. But the idea is, I mean, I've been stocking up on some stuff at home, just some extra water, some food, some candles, nothing extreme, and some extra cash and whatever. But thinking that, well, if I had, that's in my house, but I mean, who knows what's going to happen? Maybe I'll have to leave. Maybe I'll have to, the block will be on fire. The 3 Mile Island will have melted down and I have to evacuate. And so having all those 13 jugs of water and, cans of food is going to do me no good at that point. So then I'd be screwed. So this is the bonus plan, the extra plan of the house is on fire and I need to evacuate, and I don't want to go out in the street with nothing. So I would grab this bag and a coat and run outside and then move along. Like, I think with this kind of stuff I could start again. I mean, I could live for a couple of weeks and get by and lose a lot of my things that I have. But I think if I had these things, I would feel like it wasn't a complete loss. It wasn't a total loss. When I started making the go bag, I was thinking, well, it was mainly this section, the first row here, of like, got to stay alive, got to see at night, got to keep warm, whatever, and clothes, and some of this medicine stuff. That was really, and the money, I guess, was the basic bag. But then I was thinking, well, these other things, these pictures and some of these other things don't really take up that much space, and I would like to have them because they sort of are who I am. These other things are things that anybody can buy at any store, so it's not that special, but these other things are things that make me who I am, who I was, and where I've been. I think it's a good thing to have a sense of your past and sort of the complete story of your life. I'm sure other people's go bags would be different. Some people have different values and different things are important to them, and that's perfectly fine. Like your go bag is great because it's your go bag. There is no judgment on a good go bag. I guess as long as you think about it, that's the only factor that's really important. It's not too bad. Ready to go.
There's so many cars there right now.
Oh, there.
We've lived on the same farm for 51 years. So our farm's a mile long and a fourth of a mile wide. And we live right in the middle.
No, we have no computers. We have TV and radio, and that's it.
Here's the computer right here. Here's the computer.
2 years ago, we were without electricity for 5 days. No electricity. We ate by flashlight. And there was ice on the lines that broke the lines down, and so the electricity was out for 5 days.
Well, I'm ready. I got a barrel of kerosene and I got my heaters.
There's a customer there.
Hi.
Hello. Am I interrupting you?
Not a thing. $5 and $6 and $7.
Yeah, we'll take a $6 one there.
You want a $6 one? Yep. You want a good one,
They're
right?
awfully good, yeah. Oh, that looks like a good one.
In 1907, Henry Adams wrote, "At the rate of progress since 1800, every American who lived in the year 2000 would know how to control unlimited power. To them, the 19th century would stand on the same plane as the 4th, equally childlike, and he would only wonder how both of them, knowing so little and so weak in force, should have done so much."
Oh, I'd like to see a lot of changes, actually. I mean, I think the primary change I'd like to see in the U.S. is universal health care. I think that's just like a great way to have a happier populace. I mean, I think that's why there's similar societies that are, you know, the similar kind of urbanization, but they have nowhere near the violence that the U.S. has, and I think it's directly attributable to the populace being happy and being looked after, and healthcare is a huge thing. I mean, I think if there was universal healthcare, there would be less crime and more happiness in general. So that's a change I'd like to see. And for myself, I think the big change I'd really like to see myself is I'd like to see myself more culturally expanded. I really want to learn another language, Spanish. You know, they say that if you learn a new language, you get a new soul. And, you know, I see some validity in that, and I just think it would give me a different perspective, learning a different language and getting back in touch with the culture that I was born in, but kind of born out of when I lived in the U.S. for so long. I mean, I'm so Americanized in ways, but I want to get back in touch with that kind of different cultural thing.
Apparently, if you pay $20, you can see everything. If you pay $9, you see the mansion. If you pay $4, you see the plane show. If you pay again $4, you can see the auto show. And if you pay $3, you can see some Sincerely Elvis show. So those are the different things.
But I'm optimistic about what I'm working on is for the showing the triangular geometry. I see it as like a new renaissance. You know where we've been defining space using squares since the Renaissance, and that was like a technological revolution in that time period. And I look at the millennium as the next technical revolution, and you know, like with more of God in the process, so that we don't go in the negative direction, which we sort of are in this country a little bit. I'm an optimistic. You have to focus on the future and, you know, like focus on the positive. You know, I believe in the future.
I would like to see the widening gap between the rich and poor stopped, and I'd like to see that start to close so that the rich aren't as rich and the poor aren't as poor. That disparity between the very wealthy and the very poor has been widening for the last 25 years, and it's a pretty sad state of affairs, and I don't think things will get better in the country until that changes.
As far as Y2K, initially I'd wanted, I was all gung-ho and had wanted the whole thing to just crash in on itself, to just be destroyed, the whole computer structure. And the idea was thinking that it would force people to reevaluate, you know, the situations in their lives or the way that their lives were structured, and it would be a total positive thing. And so when I first heard about it through, you know, like 11-year-old computer kid, you know, a couple years ago. It was before I had a computer. I was barely emailing, you know, every once in a while. So I just started to really acknowledge computers, like even in the, you know, I tried not to acknowledge it, and I just started, and I was thinking, ooh, that's the greatest thing. I'll start emailing everybody, start taking up like tons of, you know, free email space, and make the, you know, help the crash come along, you know, just help it work itself out and have it crash in. Unfortunately, around January, I bought a computer real cheap, and soon I found myself, you know, being reliant on email and, you know, thinking the convenience was great, and then hearing that it still might crash, and like all these different aspects, how it would affect shipment of food and you know, water, you know, maintenance and all that, all those aspects, and it started freaking me out, because here I am now. I'm addicted to email and, you know, quick communication, immediate everything, and the potential for, you know, mass starvation is, you know, is at hand, and almost started wigging out about it.
Tick tock, 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 tick tock.
Oh look, there's like little fireworks in the street over there. I can't believe Jacob would be sleeping through all this.
Okay, now let's go back to reality.
Pasadena, lots of oohs and ahs going on out there. Many of the folks lined up along the parade route right now, waiting for the kickoff of the Rose Parade tomorrow, followed by the granddaddy of all, the Rose Bowl with Stanford and Wisconsin. Laura?
There's the Hollywood sign again. Want to remind everybody it's only going to be lighted for 15 minutes. This is a little bit of history that you're seeing right here. They've been working on this for months, trying to make it exactly right. And the whole idea was to pull together all the diverse people of Southern California so we could feel as one today. And I believe that's been achieved, don't you think, Harold?
Yes, but leave it to Jay now.
Are you rolling over, Jim?
Rollover.
On China's calendar, the New Year is still a month away, but Beijing's leaders are recognizing the Western holiday with a big celebration.
When did the clock start ticking and the calendar begin? With the birth of Jesus? Do we know when he was really born? Even if we thought about our mindless embrace of the arbitrary, it wouldn't be enough. If we thought about our mindless embrace of the arbitrary, but never questioned whether the birth of Jesus, the event on which the calendar is based, is what we want to meter our lives by, it wouldn't be enough. If we considered the calendar's origins, but never related expectations about second comings, raptures, Armageddons, apocalypses, or at the very least some kind of transformation to Christian prophecy, it wouldn't be enough. If we related expectations about raptures to Christian prophecy, but failed to acknowledge our own beliefs or the beliefs of others in non-Christian traditions, or in nothing at all, it wouldn't be enough. If we acknowledged atheists, pantheists, animists, pagans, Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, Muslims, and Sikhs, but didn't object to creches and Christmas trees being displayed on government property, it wouldn't be enough. If we objected to government Christmas displays, but accepted that adding a menorah, a snowman, or candy canes to the scene made the presentation secular, it wouldn't be enough. If we objected to the addition of menorahs, snowmen, and candy canes, but thought Happy Holidays didn't still really mean Merry Christmas, it wouldn't be enough. If we objected to the euphemistic wide lasso of Happy Holidays, but failed to explore the difference between what beliefs are universal and which only appear to be universal because they are subscribed to by the majority, it wouldn't be enough. If we respected the difference between what is majority and what is universal, but failed to object to the collapse of the distinction between the sectarian and the secular, it wouldn't be enough. If we were vigilant about respecting the difference between the sectarian and the secular, and remembered that what is universal among human beings is an ultimately inviolable spine-like dignity which enfranchises us to, among other things, believe or not believe, or believe differently, that would be something to celebrate.
I think it's going to be the same as 99.
Why do you think it's going to be the same?
Because I don't think nothing going to change. I think they just making a lot of advertising stuff to make you think it's going to change, but they're not really going to change anything.
I'd like to see people come up with come around to a sense of global responsibility and responsibility for their actions, and really learn how to care a lot more about each other and about the environment and about the earth that they live on, and care about its future, whether we're here or not. I think that's the most important and profound thing that has to happen for us just as a human race. I think we need to learn how to be more caring and more responsible, because the world's getting smaller every day.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What do you think is going to happen in the year 2000?
I think we're going to be able to stay home for school. We're going to have built-in monitors in our home. We're going to be able to see the teacher only.
I think there's going to be robots that can help you with your homework.
Why
and that can teach you how to do different math.
Thank you for updating our programming, for clarifying that 00 is the present, not the past. Remember, 00 is larger than 99. 2001 is the start of the new millennium, 2000 is the prelude. We have returned but not yet begun the next journey.
15. Come on, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And all that's because never in 100 years could you have conceived the kind of person you turned out to be. Never in 100 years could you have conceived the kind of person you turned out to be. Never in 1,000 years could you have conceived the kind of person you turned out to be. Never in 1,000,000 years could you have conceived the kind of person you turned out to be. So rock around your space, oh rock around your space and fill up your time, fill up your mind. Rock around your space, rock around your space and fill up your time, fill up your mind. Fill up your mind, fill up your mind, fill up your mind, fill up your mind. Rock around your space.
Scary.
Change is coded as dangerous. Y2K glitches could cause disasters. People might riot. Foreigners try to terrorize. We are all supposed to be thrilled with the lack of change, of stasis. There are a lot of very obvious changes we could make which would help society. Who do you think does not want change? The rollover is the completion of a cycle, returning to the same place at a different time. The same or different? Ask the question. What is your role in the revolution of 2000?